Good morning. Welcome into twitch.tv/ice cream uploads. I appreciate that because
uploads. You're welcome.
Did you enjoy that?
Yes.
What did you do?
Uploads.
If you listen to this on demand, I apologise for the start that you've just had. Nah, I apologise to absolutely nobody. Welcome into twitch.tv/ice cream uploads.
Okay now, yeah.
Yeah, it's
no
alright. I don't know, you told me.
Uploads. Yes, what a morning.
Do you know what? While I'm here, I might as well just go in and cut off the start of that so it plays buttery smooth every time I want it. Get rid of the so I could just go straight into
Uploads. You're welcome.
That's great. That's well get using Jesse Crates with mates tonight. Twitch.tv/ice cream.
Uploads. I regret nothing.
Anyway, welcome into twitch.tv/ice cream uploads. My name is Graham Day. I'm joined by a very aggressive, angry at his microphone, Bibby. I'll read Bib.
Good afternoon. Well, yeah, it's still morning.
It is still morning. Yeah, 2 scoops in a row where we've actually been going live at 10 a.m. ish. JMK dropped in the chat. It's 11:23, which is basically 10 a.m.
Technically, 2 in a row.
We said yesterday it wasn't going to happen, so we were actually going for. I'll take it to a row, mate. Good morning, JMK. Good morning, Ted Knott. My ears. I have no idea what I've just come into. It's not the first time you've said that, is it, my friend?
No.
Okay. No, we are here not just for mediocre banter. We are also here to bring you video game news. That's what we do. 5-ish days a week, we go live on twitch.tv/ice cream uploads, bringing you guys the biggest, the best, the breaking stories from the world of video games. And that's what we're doing today. Nice. But it's not just about the stories. We will give you our thoughts and impressions on those stories. And then we want to hear your thoughts and impressions and your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. That's kind of how the whole thing works. So if you are in the stream on twitch.tv/ice cream
Uploads!
then please do feel free to get involved in the chat. We are live on Twitch, but the live stream is turned into a podcast. A video on YouTube and an audio podcast on iTunes and Spotify and Amazon Music and Google. I keep overthinking that going into that. I keep wanting to say the word SoundCloud, but it's Amazon Music and Google Play. So yeah. All the places where over 200,000 people have watched and listened to this podcast on demand. So please do feel free to get involved in the stream and get involved. Chat on behalf of those people that do watch it on demand later on, because they do get to enjoy the content, but they don't get to involve, and you guys get to do that for them. So please feel free to jump in. Before we go any further, I want to shout out, I'm not going to name names or brands just yet, but I want to shout out a buddy that we have in the industry that works in the world of video games merch. You may have seen us repping tons of ice cream uploads. Well, I am repping ice cream uploads merch, to be fair.
Howdy.
Insert coin merch. Well, we actually have a new friend in merch as well. Someone that we've worked with for numerous years. Big friend. Buddy of ours. She is. She sent us some stuff, including this RPD jacket. So I have one, and Bibby has one, and I'm wearing mine, and Bibby's not wearing his, which means I'm the bigger Resident Evil fan. Facts.
Of course.
Yeah.
Easy. Undebatable.
Nice. Also, off the back of that, we might have some giveaways. Just saying. So if you want some video games merch, then do keep your eyes on us. We may have a couple of bits to give away in the coming weeks. So nice. It's always good to have cool friends with cool stuff that make you look cool. That's cool. Do you think that's cool, Bib?
Yes.
Me too. Yeah.
Uploads! Uploads!
Brexit.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, there we go. This is what happens when Graham gets a new toy and Bibby gets excited. Fun times. Anyway, as well as that, just a shout out to our friends, Astro, ! Astro in the chat. You may have noticed that our channel has started to rebrand. We don't have the Astro logo on the social channels anymore. It now is Logitech G, because Logitech G have been doing a lot of changes internally. So don't worry, we are still Astro partners.
Fucking hell, the size of this moth.
It's a big moth. It's a big old moth. We are still, but I've got another one for you, 12. Not ! Moth, but ! Uploads.
Uploads!
Nice. It's not in there. Don't type exclamation mark uploads. It won't do anything. But I can do it for you. Nice.
Yet.
Good morning, G and Raging Bibby. Good morning, Gagad. Good morning. How you diddling? What was I talking about then? I was talking about something. Oh, yeah, that was it. Astro.
Yeah, rebranded.
So we are removing the Astro logo from our stuff. We are still Astro partners, but the Logitech G partnership, we've basically escalated to everything in Logitech. So as Logitech G partners, we are Astro partners. We are Blue Microphone partners and all the rest. And I think over time that will start to consolidate into just one brand. But yeah, if you see Astro moving from our socials, don't worry, we still are Astro partners. We still will be wearing our Astro headsets, but yeah, we're changing things to hashtag Logitech G partner. Nice. I mean, like it still says Astro here on the screen in this carousel that's rolling here. So we'll change all of that stuff in due course, and the intro video and the rest. Just letting you know that we are still friends with the coolest people in video games, and they are still friends with us, giving us bits for you, like the Double Trouble League Logitech G prize bundle. If you wondered why we were giving away Logitech G stuff and Astro stuff, well, it makes sense now. If it didn't before, we told you before, but it makes sense now. Nice. Okay, split screening. I need to change Baby into the studio because it's not home. God damn it, baby. I always forget which one it is. That one? Yeah, nice.
Nailed it. Upload! I honestly, I actually love that. Of all the things that you clipped, I genuinely love that.
I might even go back and get the full thing where you go uploads. So I might put that. We'll see. At the moment.
Uploads!
Nice. Whoa! Nice RPD jacket. Yeah. I have one. Even Bibman has one, but he's not as big a Resident Evil fan as me. We've already established this.
Clearly.
I'm the big fan. He's not. So yeah.
I'm actually just looking at the arcade website now, and they've got so many nice things. Like, if I don't get that, there's gonna be issues, Graham. I don't even know what game is it. I don't know what game it is. Yes. But it's fucking well nice. It's very much a Bibby jacket.
Send it to me on WhatsApp. I want to see it.
If this isn't the most Bibby fucking jacket I've ever seen.
Bing. That's a Bibby jacket. Yep, that's definitely a Bibby
Confirmed.
Jacket. 100%. If you don't get what, send it to me on WhatsApp. Go on, just post it in the chat. Go on then, post it in the chat. So basically, I didn't want to name names. Not that we have a secret. We were just saving up to it. But basically, it's arc8.net. We have a buddy, someone that we used to work with in a formal life in the video games industry. Now works at arc8.net. And if you're good to good people are good to you too. And said friend, not naming names, sent us some stuff, including this sexy RPD jacket.
I sub the IQ.
Yeah. I sub the IQ, Sam. Good morning.
Upload.
Yeah, up the ICU, Sam. Thank you very much for the 7-month sub. You absolute hero. I appreciate you very much. Also, Sam, congratulations. You will be in next month's loot drop. Do you know what? Maybe we get some arcade stuff in next month's loot drop. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe we put a little bit of a bundle together or something for people that are subs. So if you are, I mean, do feel free to check out arcade.net, ark8.net. This is not an ad or a spawn. I suppose technically in the UK it would be an ad, #ad, because we have been given free stuff from a mate. We've been given stuff that we have to post. We are just choosing to talk about this because we like people that look after us. But I think that in the I can't remember the name of the organisation it is in the UK now. The FCC won't let me be, so let me be me. Yeah, those guys. But in the UK, we have to say #ad, so we have got free stuff from them. Yeah. How is Bibby allowed in the building with that shirt? Well, that's the thing. We actually have an external studio as well. It's like a porta cabin, and that's where Bibby sits.
It's an orangery.
Yeah,
for orange people.
What do we call it, Nietzsche?
Brexit.
Yeah, that's it. It's the Brexit box. That's where Bibby sits. Nice.
Fuck's sake.
You'd think Jelly Media wouldn't have an offensive shirt slogan policy in their dress code, wouldn't you? I mean, modern day video games agents say we're all dickheads. That's kind of part of the charm. That's what it is. Everyone's got to be a dickhead these days, right? Is that jacket lighter than it is on the website? I don't know.
It's extremely thick. It's got it reminds me of Canada Goose. You know, they do the guys that do the big Parker coats. That's what it reminds me of how thick the internals are on that. Like it's a proper winter bomber coat, in my opinion.
Yeah. I've only put it on today. I'm getting a bit toasty, but I only put it on to shout out the buddies. I like it thick, says Enix.
Oof.
Nice. Okay. On that bombshell, we'll jump into other things. Do you know what I like, Bib?
You tell me, Graham.
Video
what do you
game
like?
skins that carry on from one game to the next rather than just disappearing into the ether for no apparent reason.
What game was that? What did that ever happen in?
I mean, that happened in Call of Duty.
Right.
So
Did you buy anything?
Just a fucking. I foolishly thought, oh, we've got Warzone. Warzone's going to last forever. So I got Rambo. I got John McClane. I got Ghostface. Numerous skins that all cost like 2,400 COD points each, thinking that I would be able to play with those forever. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers, jumping out of planes, and do you like scary movies and all that sort of shit? Nope, all gone. When Warzone 2 came out, oh, sorry, we didn't realise that you actually wanted to use that shit. We don't have it anymore. That's about to change. Modern Warfare 2 weapons, skins, and operators will carry over to COD 2023 for the first time ever. Ooh, nice. That's our first story. We'll then jump into another Call of Duty story, which, despite Modern Warfare 2 being pretty badass, looks like more people played a game 13-year-old this weekend than Halo Infinite. So yeah, Call of Duty is already smashing it with Modern Warfare, but their 13-year-old games are doing more bits than Halo Infinite. Is that because Call of Duty is smashing it, or because Halo Infinite's a bit garbage?
Because I played it yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I allowed you to play it with my game. It's me sat there watching.
We got into a server. Yeah.
We then talk about loot boxes, and we will finish up to talk about Resident Evil 9 to launch in 2025. A reveal is likely set for next year, 2024. That is a rumor that will wrap things off. Actually, quite nice that both of us have got RPD jackets that we could have wore for the news today. Oh.
No.
Yeah, exactly. My fault. For now, though, just talking about you then. How many skins did you get? 4 skins in total.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Easy.
Oh, Shredder's Revenge DLC on screen. I pressed the wrong button. I brought the discussing now up. I meant to bring this up instead. Nice.
Oh dear.
This is from, is it Sherif Saed? It is Sherif Saed at VG247. Modern Warfare 2 weapon skins and operators will carry over to COD 2023 for the first time ever. Is the title. The tagline, usually pretty similar, says weapons, operators, and skins from Modern Warfare 2 will return in Call of Duty 2023, probably because it started out as an expansion. So Activision has not said a single official word about this year's Call of Duty. The publisher previously confirmed its existence, of course, and revealed that it's going to be a full-on premium release and not an expansion to Modern Warfare 2, as earlier reports indicated. But as far as the name, release date, details about what's coming, or which of Activision Studios is working on it, we're yet to hear anything. Today, however, the company may have uttered the first official word about Call of Duty 2023 through the franchise's official Twitter account. The account confirmed a major feature coming to this year's game, albeit in a corny way. Call of Duty's Twitter account posted a poll that asks players whether operators, weapons, and bundles from Modern Warfare 2 should carry forward into Call of Duty 2023. The two answers are yes and yes when is reveal, ? So the tweet is embedded, but it's not quite showing properly because, internet. That obviously all but confirms that the content players have been accruing over the past year in Modern Warfare 2 will be usable in this year's Call of Duty. This is a first for the long-running series. With the arrival of Warzone, players have grown to expect bundles, weapons, and operators from different games to be usable in the Battle Royale mode, but never in the following year's premium game. That was almost always the result of the different engines each game was built on and the varying themes/eras each game was going for. Each individual Call of Duty game was also led by a different studio with their own design philosophies and gameplay priorities, but Call of Duty 2023 was heavily reported to have started out as a paid expansion to last year's Modern Warfare 2 before it evolved into a full-fledged release. That would explain why content from Modern Warfare 2 can carry forward into this year's Call of Duty. As for the game itself, it's heavily rumoured that it will simply be called Modern Warfare 3. Nice! With its campaign picking up from where Modern Warfare 2's left off, multiplayer will also be built on the same foundation, though there are rumours that Sledgehammer Games, who's said to be developing it, will be making a few changes to mechanics like player movement speed, the minimap, and so on. Excuse me. And just in case the Modern Warfare 3 name wasn't entirely believable, Activision has started issuing DMCA strikes to Twitter accounts for showing, quote, leaked content from Call of Duty. I'm assuming that should be Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, according to Twitter users who got their content taken down. Call of Duty 2023 is expected to release sometime in November, with a full reveal likely to take place sometime in August, potentially following the end of Modern Warfare Season 4 on August the 9th. Ooh. So Modern Warfare 2 weapon skins and operators will carry over to Call of Duty 2023, even though we don't know anything about that game. And we're probably not going to for another month, officially. First question will obviously be thoughts on all of that bit, but then the second question would be, when do we feel like we're going to get that information? If we're talking August, August has Gamescom. And from what I'm hearing from articles and snippets, I don't know if there's actually been a big article, like a proper... I'm not even from article, from threads, Twitter conversations, and so on. That Xbox are going ham at this Gamescom. I don't know if that's for certain, and I don't know if that has been confirmed. Has anyone seen anything official on that? I keep seeing people talking about Xbox going big at this year's Gamescom. So if that's the case, do we see a lot of Call of Duty then? Do they save it for opening night live? And so lots of questions, lots to unpack. Thoughts, Pip?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much information we're going to get in such a small amount of time, because let's be honest, we usually have like an October, November release date for Call of Duty, right? So it doesn't give them much build. But I think, to be fair, Modern Warfare and I don't know, I'm going to say Warzone's in a good state, but Modern Warfare is still ticking over and people are still playing it. So it's not as if like they need to ship this game out ASAP, but their yearly routine of delivering one around the holiday period or leading up to the holiday period is obviously something that they've done for well over a decade now. So I imagine we are going to see something sometime soon, and Gamescom would be the perfect reveal for it. But in terms of actually keeping the skins and operators going forward, I think it's the easiest move I think they're going to be able to have, because if you know that there's a new game coming out within the next 2 months, chances are you're probably not going to want to spend any money on the operator skins that are coming through, because you know that those aren't going to carry forward. So the 2.5-3 month period beforehand, I bet they see a lot of sales actually falling down, because who would want to use them for 2 months and then probably never use them again? Make it like it's a Fortnite Funko Pop type situation where you've just got an account full of whatever skin that you purchased over the last 5 years, and just carry that going, because you will see a trend of people buying a lot, then maybe not buying anything for a month, but then buying a lot, then not buying anything for a month, because you've got that consistency of, you're going to be able to use this skin for however long the game's supported for. You haven't got the choice of you now not using your Ghostface or your
Rambo, John McClane.
Yeah, those ones that you bought from the previous game obviously aren't being carried over. Make it so that they're accessible at all times, because then you're more inclined to know that your money is safe in terms of the products that you've bought previously, and you know that your next purchase will end up being going into the catalog of the ones that you've got already. There's never going to be a slowdown with it. So it makes perfect sense for them to be able to do that, rather than the previous method, or the method like in football games where you might end up buying a decent team and then it not being used again. FIFA's obviously the primary example of that. You buy a team for the year and then you can't use them in the next game, and then you have to start all over again. People will be hesitant, and now it gets to April, May, June time, obviously the game starts to wind down a little bit. Football seasons to be finished. The cards obviously aren't as exciting as the once was, because there's no weekly promos or anything like that you're looking for. Like, it's just, you see peaks and troughs, you see trends, and I think they're trying to get out of that. I mean, Fortnite is the perfect example of how to be able to do it in terms of securing your money, I'll say in air quotes, because that's essentially what they are, aren't they? They're an investment that you can return back to. Like Star Wars comes around 3 or 4 times a year, but the Star Wars characters or the models that was available 5 years ago aren't available now. There might be a completely different model. So yeah, I think it's definitely a decent business model for them to continue with.
Yeah, it's a shame it hasn't happened before. That said, I wouldn't be surprised if Scream, like, which one did we just get? Did we just get Scream 6 or was it Scream 5? I can't remember. I think it was 6.
I think it's 6, isn't
it? Yeah. So we're going to get a Scream 7. Scream 6 was hugely successful. So we'll get Scream 7. Wouldn't be surprised if Miramax or whoever's running promotional stuff for Scream suddenly go, do you know what? Activision, Xbox, we had a really good thing before. Let's just reopen what we had previously. Put in Ghostface and a new version or something into the new game so that you can continue forward. I wouldn't be surprised if John McClane and Rambo go. I mean, I know they were crossovers because 84, the Black Ops was what do they call it? Black Ops Cold War themed in that sort of era, 80s action heroes. So they crossed over, but they've already done that there. So it would be silly and money left on the table for both parties if Xbox didn't go back to the studios and go, okay. Well, I say Xbox because Activision. We'll call it Activision just for ease. If Activision didn't go back and say, look, should we just renew that again? We'll give you a couple more quid and we'll open it back up again so more people can get involved. Jobs are good and oosh. The only thing is that does bring difficulty then, because if they bring Rambo back, do the people that had Rambo have to pay again? Do they just sign a license to let it go again, and the people that had it don't have to pay for it? So there's difficulties in there. That said, I wouldn't be surprised if this is something that came about from happenstance and now starts to get put into everything going forward, because brands are stupid. Brands are stupid and old school and short-sighted and think from a box-to-box development cycle. Not all brands, but most brands will be like, we are creating a game. A game is something that we print onto a disc, put into a box, and put onto the shelf, and then we think about the next game. And that's not what video games are. That's not even what happens in their development more often than not. I mean, a lot of them go, fuck it, we'll hardly do any case stuff. We'll just put it all digital. Jobs are good. But when it comes to the content, whoever's doing their licensing stuff goes, yep, okay, we will sign you for this game. Thank you. And then it's like, what about the next game? Oh, we didn't actually mention that in our conversations for licenses, so we are just talking about this game for the next 9 to 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, whatever sort of life cycle the game's going to have. But the next one, it's not going to be in it because we didn't think about that sort of conversation. Even though now you're saying it now, it makes absolute common sense, but we didn't have that conversation. And Call of Duty, I imagine, had those similar sort of conversations. And then when it came to Modern Warfare 2 leading to Modern Warfare 3, which is a spin-off, and they've gone, do you know what, we can make all the content just go forward because it's the same thing. Actually, it's a standalone game. Yeah, but it'll all still work. It makes sense to keep it going. Nice. Wouldn't surprise me if now, when they're signing deals, be it for Homelander and the rest of the team from The Boys, wouldn't surprise me if those deals now are being done with the next games in forward. And from a development perspective, it's only a skin. It's only a player skin. And some mechanics and so on. It's just like, in terms of building that in, the development team will be, 1 or 2 people will be able to do that in their sleep, pretty much. So it wouldn't surprise me if this started out as something that someone's gone, you do realise that we can do the Call of Duty, the Fortnite stuff and just carry stuff forward effortlessly? Oh, can we? Yeah. Okay, well, let's do that then. And then it wouldn't surprise me then if this leads on to, do you know what? Everything just works forever. You've bought it in the game. Until something drastically changes, wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. Because, that's how it should work. Fortnite has shown that that's how it should work. Just because we used to play a game for 12 months and then switch to the next shooter for 12 months and then switch to the next shooter for 12 months and football games and Madden and hockey games or whatever, just because that's how it's always worked, doesn't mean that's how it always should work, because we didn't used to go online. We didn't used to play Ultimate Team modes and things like that. People do that now. So just because it did, and hopefully this is a nice accidental bit of progression for the industry where we don't lose multiple skins, and I'm talking your showstopper ones, your John McClane's, your Rambos, and your Ghostface, because they're external media outlets that have put in it. But tons of people will invest in tons of skins. You will get 6 different Ghost skins. Ghost is a Call of Duty player character, should I say, across the course of the year. People will buy them because they really enjoy that. Just like people will buy tons of skins, 1 a month, 1 a week, or whatever in Fortnite. But in Fortnite, you keep them. In Call of Duty, new game. New rules. You've got to start spending again. And it's just, the only thing, realistically, obviously there will be money in there somewhere, but realistically, the only thing that stops that from being a thing is ignorance. And that's it. Ignorance could lead to greed and all the rest, and there's whatever, but whichever way the cookie crumbles, it is ignorance. I didn't think about signing it for another year. Actually, I didn't think that we should do that because then people won't buy next year and so on. Fortnite has already shown that if you give people what they want smartly and give them good content, they will always spend again if you've got good content. So, yeah. Nice. I'm happy to see it.
Just a year too late.
Yeah. Fuckers. It is such a shame, though, because, like, they did... For that Black Ops Cold War, the 84 vibe was on point. Getting in like retro synthwave sort of branding, styling, and skins, getting in tie-ins with movies and so on. Exceptional content. I don't buy into what they said in this article though. They didn't want skins to carry over either because it was technically difficult going over to different engines and so on, or because you were going over to different genres, so like from World War II to like Modern Warfare kind of thing. Don't buy into that shit because we got Ghostface in Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which was the 80s. So Ghostface, which was around in the 90s, is revamped in the 2020s, but was now popping up in the 80s and runs around with a sheet on and a knife. Yeah, all right, that's what you do in a fucking Warzone. Yeah, all right, yeah, nice one, mate. So no, I don't buy into that bullshit. Nah, and the fact that if we can all assume that the UAV that you'll get in Modern Warfare, people were like, oh, that's a really good mechanic and we need that in World at War. How do we do it? We'll get a spy plane. Yeah, one dude in a little fucking rickety plane flying overhead can tell everyone on the ground where everyone is at the exact same time. One linesman in football can't even tell when someone's ran past a footballer. So how is one dude in the sky fucking 100 feet up going, there's 12 different people in different Nah. So if we can take stuff like that, we can take stuff like skins with a pinch. The only difference is that stuff don't cost you anything, and skins potentially does. So yeah, nice we're getting there. If this is the future of skins, I am big on board for this. A bit late, but better late than never. Other games still are doing this. So if Call of Duty, Warzone, and Fortnite, I counted that as that was a comma there. Call of Duty, Warzone, and Fortnite are doing this. 3 different games, because Call of Duty and Warzone are effectively 2 different games. Then others have to start paying attention to how they treat their DLC / add-on / digital partnership content going forward. And yeah, big fan. Yes, please. Okay, not going too far then. We'll jump into the next story. Actually, let me jump back through these last bits. So when you asked if the jacket was lighter than it is on the website, do you mean in colour or weight? Because in terms of weight, it's got a nice bit of weight to it. It's weighty, but in a good way. That's pretty cool, the Borderlands section on the site. Yeah, they've got some cool Borderlands stuff, to be fair. Yeah. We've got some nice Borderlands socks. Just saying. And a backpack. Or 2. I lost all my Halloween skins from Warzone 1. As in like Halloween, like Michael Myers? Did they have a Halloween crossover? Didn't know that. I missed that one. When all your friends kept their Xbox and are enjoying the old CODs and you're just sat twiddling thumbs. Yeah.
You got a 360, mate. That's what I would. You should be able to access it that way.
Speaking of which, that's a nice little segue into the next article and into what Bibby was doing yesterday. Isaiah Colbert at Kotaku has this article that says, looks like more people played a 13-year-old Call of Duty game this weekend than Halo Infinite. Yikes. Players flooded to 2010's Black Ops, which instantly was the game that Bibby was playing yesterday, after Activision restored the servers for its Xbox 360 Call of Duty games. So in a surprise move, Activision has revived the multiplayer servers for a number of Xbox 360 era Call of Duty games, and it's proved to be a popular decision. In fact, this past weekend, Xbox 360 Call of Duty games reportedly had more players than both Halo Infinite and Battlefield 2042 combined. Yikes! According to the Call of Duty news account Modern Warzone, this weekend saw more people playing Xbox 360 era COD games that were released over 10 years ago than were playing contemporary first-person shooters like Halo Infinite and series rival Battlefield 2042. Xbox fan account Adelsloth84 corroborated this news with screenshots revealing that there were 123,852 people playing COD Black Ops 11,540 people, 514 people playing Black Ops 2, and I'll just call it 80k playing COD Modern Warfare 3 on Xbox 360 servers. COD Black Ops was first released in 2010, and Modern Warfare 3 was released the following year. While the server fixes come at an auspicious time for enthusiastic players inclined to celebrate in the streets about Microsoft and Sony coming to terms with their joint custody over the mega-popular first-person shooter franchise, longest sentence in the world and it's still not even finished, by the way, reliving the glory days of these decade-old games on current-gen Xbox consoles is coming with some last-gen problems. Unfortunately, hackers are reportedly still present in old-school servers, and the gameplay is feeling a bit off on the Xbox Series X and S, as some players are experiencing input delay on their 9th-generation consoles. Currently, it's unknown whether Activision will continue working to improve the experience of these older games for players who are experiencing issues. So this is clearly a double-edged story. Call of Duty is in the news. Old games have been turned back on, so there is a little bit of the novelty of going back and playing the games that may have a little bit of rose tinting when you're looking back at them through modern-day glasses, but also the fact that Halo Infinite and Battlefield 2042 arguably, unless you are a mega stan for those games, arguably didn't hit where they intended to hit. They didn't peak where they intended to peak, and they definitely didn't stick the landing. So, mega headline, but kind of makes sense, depending on when it is. If they'd done this in the launch weekend of Halo Infinite, it'd have been a completely different situation. Halo Infinite came out over a year ago and didn't do very well. Naturally, a game that has just effectively, air quotes, come out, is going to be a bit bigger. Will that continue in a couple of weeks' time? Who knows? What are your thoughts, Bib?
Yes, it's not sustainable. I don't think people are running back for nostalgia. Like you see Gaming Bible and Lad Bible and Gaming News and all these other places that are just making video content of them, logging it back up again just to be able to hear the sound, the noises, the intro videos, and just jumping back into some old maps and stuff like that. But they say it's sustainable. It's still riddled with hackers and people who have played this game non-stop. So the average person who's obviously moved on and coming back to it is just going to get shat on, a la me yesterday. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome that they're coming.
You won your first game.
I did. I won both games. Second game, a lot worse than the first one. Didn't get over a 1.0 kill death ratio, but
only down one kill though. Going back to a lobby that, I mean, you were playing at your desk on Wi-Fi. There's probably modern day kids like super wired up, modern day Astro headsets. You were sat there. I mean, Astro, but you had your desk K10s on. You weren't rocking your full powered A40s kind of thing. So
yeah, I mean, you're making me feel a lot better about it now, Graham. So I thank you very much for that. But yeah, I mean, for the sake of just dropping in for a couple of hours, if you want to play with the homies, yeah, fantastic experience. But let's be honest, this isn't going to be sustainable. It's not going to be the game that people are dying to go back home and play like Modern Warfare 2 and stuff like that. I couldn't even find a game yesterday on COD 4. It was only Black Ops that I could. I didn't try Modern Warfare 2, but I've seen. I think Manny was playing it yesterday, trying to get into some games, and he tweeted out that he couldn't find any games on Modern Warfare 2 or anything. So again, it's just people dipping back. I imagine in 2 weeks' time, people would have moved back onto playing a more modern version of the game. But for the sake of some clickbaity headlines, yes, it is obviously rocking at this moment in time because the nostalgia is real, and it's genuinely as easy as if you've got a disc-based console, you can just slap your old disc in and you're good to go. Luckily, I kept all my old COD games at home. We've even got a cupboard full of them down here of duplicates that I brought in over the years as well. So, yeah, we've got the opportunity to be able to play them. If you have the opportunity, it's definitely worth it. It won't cost you anything. You've obviously got the games anyway. But jump in while you can, because I imagine in 2 weeks' time, there isn't going to be that many people back on the servers again. So, get it enjoyed.
Big fan of this. Big fan of this. I mean, purely because I'm the right age for this. For me, you can always tell where the kind of like age lines are. If you preferred Call of Duty Modern Warfare, like Black Ops not Black Ops, Call of Duty World at War, and then Modern Warfare 2 rather than Black Ops, you're probably closer to 40 than you are closer to 30. And I see that often. Loads of people going, oh, Black Ops, my favourite game. Black Ops 2, my favourite game. And I'm thinking, yeah, no, you've already been past the peak there, but you probably started after me, so I'll let you off. I'll let you off. Like Modern Warfare 2, phenomenal games for me. So seeing those be back, just absolute hype. Modern Warfare Remastered, I've said this a million times, I went through and smashed the life out with that game. The only wish is that would happen now rather than 5 years ago, because Call of Duty now is a much bigger... 5 years ago, it was struggling. We had the Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare sort of like catastrophe, exosuits, space missions, the most downvoted video in the history of YouTube at that point in time when they announced the game. Plus, if you spend a bajillion pounds on the special edition, you'll get what you actually want, which is Modern Warfare Remastered. People wanted a new Modern Warfare, but they went remastered. So... Big fan that we are back firmly in the Modern Warfare world of Call of Duty. And it doesn't surprise me that those games have led to the most successful games ever in the more recent Modern Warfare games. So, yeah, big fan of that. I would love to see them. If they don't do Modern Warfare 2, I know they've done Modern Warfare 2, the new one, and Modern Warfare 2 from 2009 or whenever it was. If they don't do Modern Warfare 2 remastered, I feel like you're leaving money on the table there. I know we've just played the new Modern Warfare 2, but if you just add as a separate game, a standalone game, and this is, I feel like, where Xbox can go, actually, we're offering console parity with Modern Warfare, because if the next game, and this is where it gets confusing because of what the old Modern Warfare 2 and the new Modern Warfare 2 and so on, the next game is Modern Warfare 3. I'll just call the other one Modern Warfare 2009 rather than Modern Warfare 2 from back then. So... if the next game is Modern Warfare 3, that's coming out on PlayStation, that's coming out on Xbox, it's got day-and-date release parity, functional parity, missions parity, DLC for that game parity, but then release Modern Warfare 2009 remastered and just do that on Xbox. Because I feel like if you want something exclusive, do that. Just whatever happens, bring that game back exactly how it is. If you're not going to do that, then just make sure that Modern Warfare 3 has... not just elements of those maps incorporated into whatever the next version of the Warzone map's going to be called, Verdansk 2, whatever. Whatever it's going to be called, don't just incorporate some high-rise in there and some crash and some whatever. Give us those actual maps in multiplayer, like faithfully recreated to the angles where you can get in the same spots where you were. Because I want that has some phenomenal memories from playing Call of Duty 4. I had the same memories repolished in Modern Warfare Remastered. I feel like Modern Warfare 2, there's a place for that. Probably not for everyone, but I feel like there's money left on the table that people need. And if this doesn't say the same thing, like 4 Call of Duty games adding hundreds of thousands of concurrent players shows that people have... It's like the original 151 in Pokemon. Pokemon will always sell. Call of Duty will always sell. But you wheel out the 151, you're going to sell big. And this is
the ones with the most disposable income, right? Because that's who it's technically aimed at. It's not aimed at bringing the new people in. It's aimed at the people who have the disposable income to go, okay, I will buy this DLC, I will buy this new game, even though you've already brought out 2 Pokemon games this year. You're bringing out a 151. They're doing that with the booster packs at the moment. That's coming out. Is it the Celebrations pack?
Yeah,
something?
You were mentioning it to me in the office the other day. Like they're going back to giving you the first 151 again, kind of thing.
Yeah, so who's that aimed at? The people with the most disposable income at £50 a box. Us, obviously.
Enix.
Yeah, it's Jordan, yeah. So yeah, like you say, just wheel out the old hits.
Just to confirm, Enix doesn't necessarily have the most disposable income. He just disposes of the most income.
Yeah. And then buys it, sells it on, and then rebuys it
and goes again. Nice. Salty Dog says the single player missions alone are worth it. I know, I completely agree. I like even if you're not, if you're old, like we're all getting there, and you don't have the reaction speeds, or maybe you've not played the game for the last 13 years, so you don't remember all of the angles. Some people aren't old and have played the game for the last 13 years, so do remember all the angles. You're going to get absolutely shat on. So that's when, okay, maybe multiplayer is not for me. It's not got the same vibe as a modern battle royale has in terms of longevity in playing it. I'm not online with my 6 mates every night, all night, like I used to be, so maybe multiplayer just doesn't hit the same. Then the single player missions is what you fall back on, and they are some incredible stories. Black Ops was just an 80s blockbuster. The Modern Warfare games obviously did a phenomenal job of bringing Call of Duty narrative games, the missions, should I say, back into the limelight because of years of almost National Geographic sort of stuff. Modern Warfare, COD 4, brought the mod line. I mean, things like the Gilly in the Mist mission and the AC-130 gunship mission and the End mission on the plane and things like that. Like, spoilers. I know it's a million years old, but spoilers. So there is so much there that it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So even if they don't get the full rework, retreatment, remaster, remake, whatever you want to call it, just the fact that they are there, they are live, and people can play them again. I mean, Xbox, why don't you just complete this fucking deal a million years ago, mate? God, stop dicking around in court with PlayStation for ages, mate. Don't have a 360, but tempted to get a Series S or X so I can play, but not sure. Do it.
It was cheaper just to get a 360, right? Because you can get one on Facebook Marketplace for about £20. And the fact that Xbox Live is, well, not Xbox Live as it once was, is available anymore, but Xbox itself, if you've still got an active subscription, you'll be able to just jump back on again if you've got the game. Surely, like, I haven't tried it on my 360. I've only been trying it on the Xbox One that we've got upstairs, but I imagine it's the same. I still play my 360 for like Guitar Hero and old Pezzes and stuff like that. So you should be fine to get online. I don't think they've discontinued the 360 side of it yet.
Played Modern Warfare 2, COD 4, Black Ops 1 at my mate's yesterday. It felt unreal. Nice. We were going to play Modern Warfare 2 until I opened up my case in the box under my desk and realised the fucking game wasn't in there. It's probably, like Baby said, in my 360 somewhere. So I think that I don't even know where that is. Actually, do you know what? Maybe it bricked. Maybe my 360 died and the disc was, I can't remember. It was Microsoft who fixed the matchmaking, not Activision, so good sign what the acquisition could bring. I can see they're making Call of Duty Collection like the MCC. Yeah, like the Master Chief Collection for Halo. I can see that. A Call of Duty Collection would be great. Fully remastered, or not even fully remastered, fully restored in terms of functionality. Even if they don't remaster the graphics, that would be a great collection. Just have it as a 30 quid price tag and get the history of Call of Duty games. It's a money spinner, really. I mean, the servers and everything are on. You've done half the hard work just to get the people playing. Do it with a simple opt-in price. Easy. They did do a Modern Warfare 2 remaster, but it was campaign only. Yeah, I know. I mean, like, the full, like, multiplayer side of it kind of thing. I was a bit disappointed when it was just campaign only. I think I actually have it. I'm pretty sure it came out free on PlayStation Plus at one point in time.
Yeah.
But it's not what I want. I mean, I spent literal years of my life, probably literal, playing multiplayer. Give it back. Give it back. Tell you what, you can give back, by the way. Complete tangent, jump into the next news story. Loot boxes. Fuck that shit. Okay. By the way, that was the worst thing about Modern Warfare Remastered. Modern Warfare Remastered came out with a lot of cool stuff, but they also added loot boxes to COD 4, basically. It was terrible. They did do some good nerfing of it, though. They had the balance that EA wanted to try get with Star Wars, that didn't get, where you had to basically play for like 3 months solid just to get enough gear to unlock Darth Vader without paying for it. And then the same again for Luke, and the same again for Yoda. And so 17 years or whatever you had to fucking play to get it. It was never that bad. You could churn and get stuff for free, like which I did. There were some cool guns that they added into it, which people weren't happy because it was remastering, but then remaking by adding to it. Whatever. Loot boxes in the bin. And that is where we jump into our next story. This is written by Steffan Powell at BBC News. Loot boxes. Games companies agree to restrict access in the UK. Do you know what? If the Call of Duty story didn't have such significance for us, we play Call of Duty, we have spoken about losing skins and stuff in the past. Just yesterday, Baby was playing Call of Duty in the office. If it wasn't that significant, this could easily have been the lead story, because this is, without going through it, just reading the headline, a hugely significant moment for video games. So the UK games industry has unveiled plans to try and restrict access to loot boxes for children. Loot boxes allow players to buy in-game extras that are assigned at random, but some are concerned about their relationship with problem gambling. UK, which is the UK Interactive Entertainment body, the body that represents game companies, says that the proposals will, quote, improve protection for all players. They argue the 11 new guidelines, quote, underline the industry's commitment to safe and reasonable play. Loot boxes are a way of spending real money to get digital items like new characters, in-game clothes, weapons, moves, or experience points. Exactly what you're getting with each box is random. Some compare them to buying a Kinder Egg or a packet of football stickers. Others say it's like using a slot machine. The UK government has spent 3 years figuring out what to do about them, from threats to ban their use for under 18s in the UK to an edict last summer. Edict, is that the right word? I've never heard that word. That games companies must create new rules to protect children and young people. Are they a gateway to gambling addiction, or just a fun mechanic that enhances players' gaming experiences? Some countries like Belgium and the Netherlands think that the former and have banned them. Last July, then Culture Secretary Nadine Dorries... Oh my God, let me start this again. Last July, then Culture Secretary Nadine Dorries said that because the evidence about loot boxes was still emerging, quote, direct government intervention may risk unintended consequences. The games industry should come up with measures itself before any new laws are introduced, she said. It's taken nearly 12 months for those measures to be agreed upon. Nice. Okay, let me have a drink before I go into this, because now it looks like we've got a big old read on our hands.
Yeah.
The new principles. UK has published principles that it believes will allow the industry to self-regulate the use of loot boxes. The first is a commitment to make available technological controls to effectively restrict anyone under 18 from acquiring a loot box without the consent or knowledge of a parent or guardian. Many of these controls are already available on games platforms but aren't as widely used as they could be. The new principles set out best practice for their use in an effort to increase take-up. The second is to drive awareness of those controls with a public information campaign. An expert panel will be set up to share best practices on age assurance issues. Yuki says games companies will disclose the presence of loot boxes before someone chooses to buy a title, and games will have to show clear probabilities before the purchase of a loot box. The plans include rules on how loot boxes should be presented and a commitment to more lenient refund policies. There is also a proposal to tackle the black market that surrounds these purchases and do more research about their impact and use. Progress will be reviewed in 12 months. Some content creators have built careers on making exciting and entertaining videos around the use of loot boxes, and many players enjoy buying them responsibly every day. These regulations are largely designed to protect children and young people. However, they're not the only people who can develop an unhealthy relationship with the in-game mechanic. For Dave Sprossen, buying loot boxes became a problem as an adult. Okay. I'm going to fast forward through this. This gives a case study about him taking out a £10,000 loan, family issues, and so on. Okay, we can leave it there. I think we've got the sentiment from it. Games companies agree to restrict access in the UK. So the government wouldn't step in and challenge the games industry to do that. And we, through UK, the United Kingdom Interactive Entertainment Body, has a plan. We have 11 guidelines, from clarifying the use of loot boxes, adding difficulties / solid restrictions from players getting to loot boxes, sharing out probabilities, and so on. We have guidelines. That said, is that enough? Didn't we have already most of that, in theory, in place already? Or is tightening that up all we need? What are your thoughts, babe?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to the loot box stuff, the main question that I always have with it is, who's more at risk with the loot boxes? Like, I know the kid situation is always what everyone plans around it, because I feel like it is the easiest thing for us to be able to say, right, well, this is going to make sure that they don't have a gateway into gambling in the future, and we can just sort it. But I always feel like behind that, I also think that the bigger problem is obviously the adults that do already have a gambling problem and are gambling on whatever it is that they want to be able to gamble, whether or not it's esports, whether or not it's horse racing, whether or not it's a football, whether or not it's some sport that they don't even know on, but they've got a habit of doing it anyway, so they're going to do it. This is another way for them to be able to get their vice by going into video games and opening CSGO packs, or packs on FIFA, or packs on Call of Duty, or whatever it is that they want to be able to do. I always feel like the people always go for the kid angle, but I always feel like the adults are at more risk than the children. I feel like the easiest thing is people have sympathy when it comes down to children. People don't have as much sympathy when it comes down to adults, because you're seen as, you have your own mindset.
Should have known better.
It's your money. You should have done better. Yeah, I always feel like that is always the case. It's easier to go with the children angle with it, but I always feel that we should be safeguarding people who obviously have a problem in the first place. And is this a step in the right direction? Will this help people? I think gambling in video games is a much smaller problem than it is gambling in the real world in terms of Bet365 or gambling on football. I don't believe taking sponsors off football shirts is the answer. I don't believe that taking for adverts off the TV is also the answer. I believe it is a learned behavior once you've already started doing it and you've had a few wins and stuff. It's a habit that you need to take care of away from everything else that's around you. I don't believe that will help. I don't believe that taking beers off the front of football shirts 20 years ago was the answer, because
I mean,
people still get pissed in,
you've
in
never
the ground.
drunk. You've never drunk in the last 20 years, though, have you, babe?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely not. So I always feel like these are very small steps in the right direction, but there's so much more in the grand scheme of things that even if they left that stuff in plain sight, there's stuff away from it that needs to be done first. And I don't know. I don't know the answer to this. I believe that the people are making decisions don't know the answer to it. Otherwise, it would have been done a long time ago, and things like this would never have come into place. But it's for much smarter people and more articulate people to be able to put this argument forward than me. But I don't believe that this is essentially going to do much, because there will just be something else that pops up in his way. We wanted to get rid of smoking. We brought in vapes, which, if you believe one scientist is over another, is worse than smoking because you're sucking on a battery. Like, these things will never stop. There will always be one thing dies, another thing pops up in its place that will become even more apparently toxic than the last thing.
Slight tangent. One thing I hate about vapes is, and this is someone that goes walking with a dog, I and rightfully so, go to McDonald's and get a shit paper straw. I believe science has failed us there. We've gone from saving the environment by getting rid of plastic straws to, well, that's not even functionable as a straw. I get the idea of going to paper straws, but surely if we could put man on the moon, we could make a better paper straw that's not made of plastic. But we've sacrificed paper straws, but then people will get plastic disposable vapes that are just littering the streets. I mean, literally, I'll go walk around parks in Manchester and there's vape shit on the floor. So fuck me. Anyway, big old tangent. Back into the room. I do agree with the point of, like you were saying, in terms of taking gambling off the football shirts isn't sorting the problem. I agree with that, and I do agree that it's not just a child problem. Adults are at risk of addiction just as much as children. In certain ways, probably more, because a lot of children are protected from more addiction triggers, which is what this whole thing is about. Children aren't protected from the addiction triggers that are in video games, but they are protected from everything else. But adults aren't protected from those addiction triggers either. And just because they are adults, addiction is a problem, because people don't have the normal biological responses to things that are dangerous to you, like sitting on fire. You'd be like, oh, that's probably going to hurt. Not going to do that. Addiction can be almost as destructive, but your brain doesn't tell you that it's bad, so you crack on with it. And that's the problem here. Problem gambling is something that can be hugely destructive, and loot boxes is like a gateway drug for that. So it doesn't just affect children, it does affect everyone. And I do like the fact that we are now setting things up. I do feel like this is red tape, though, that needs to be cut, in terms of whatever the feck Nadine Dorries said. Oh, well, we don't know if we interfere, we might cause some shit, so let's not interfere. And it's like, but if you don't interfere, you will cause some shit. Not making a stance is making a stance. So, I mean, you're clearly happy enough to be on potentially the wrong side of history by, oh, we didn't intervene, and a full generation of kids are now hooked on gambling. But we got there eventually. We'll just save it for the next generation. I feel like, for me, I'd like to see a little bit more, even if they didn't go in scorched earth, just putting some things in practice to help with that. That said, Yuki and the games industry have taken that mantle and they've run with it. I do feel like, though, going back to the comment of cutting through red tape, is that all of this existed. Platforms had the ability to age restrict games. That's great, but FIFA's and everyone can play it game. It doesn't matter if you're 18 or not, you can play FIFA, and that has loot boxes in it. So what's your point? Okay, Call of Duty. All right, they got rid of loot boxes because they realised it was bullshit mechanics. But okay, great. You can't play that game, but you can get a battle pass on it. But it doesn't matter because you're 18 and you can't get into it anyway. So stuff like that exists. Pulling all of that together, great, wonderful, nice. But it's like trying to sort climate change when everyone was like, oh, we got all these governments from around the world and we'll all agree to reduce fossil fuels and agree to climate this, that, and the other. But then 2 or 3 of the big guns went, actually, do you know what? That's going to be quite detrimental to our economies, so we're just not going to bother. Then it doesn't. What's the point if the big ones aren't doing it? And this stuff. So the guidelines that says like, where do we go? I can't. So the new principles. So the first is a commitment to make technologies that control age restrictions. The second drives awareness. I do like that one. We don't really have that one yet. I mean, whenever you see drink driving awareness campaigns, it goes down. Whenever you see, like, I mean, I'm an old man, so I'm referencing things that I've seen in my life. Drink driving awareness campaigns. Ecstasy. There was a big campaign on ecstasy in the late 90s because everyone was dropping acid in fucking hacienda and so on. So that naturally dropped off. People were taking better steps towards that. Same thing with this. If you make more awareness of it, and people will naturally react to it, it becomes an ongoing conversation. So I do like that one. Mm-hmm. But in reality, it still exists. We do have that to an extent. So the red tape comment, we've got a lot of stuff. We're just pledging that everyone will try to do more of the stuff that we already have. So it feels like we're probably going to just go around the houses and then back where we started, which is asking now the government to go do something about this legitimately, like make it so that gambling in games is illegal. But it's steps that need to be taken. I'm happy in terms of where we are. We are getting movement, and it is being done from within the games industry. So naturally, the games industry is looking after the players and the long-term health of the industry in that sort of sense. If you look out for the community looks out for you at the end of the day. So, yeah, GG's UK.
Yeah.
Nice. Game devs restrict access to loot boxes. That is the title. Basically, of the article that we've just been looking through. Nice. Precision says, Precision. Welcome into twitch.tv/ice cream.
Upload!
Don't.
It's never going to get old, that, by the way.
Don't ask questions. Just embrace it for what it is.
Brexit.
Nice. Okay, next up, our final news story of the day, which is pretty apt because I'm a big Resident Evil fan wearing a Resident Evil jacket, and Bibby's not, so it is what it is. But nice! Shubhankar Parijat at Gaming Bolt has an article that says Resident Evil 9 to launch in 2025. Reveal likely set for 2024. Rumour. Capcom is allegedly set to announce a major new title later this year that will launch sometime in fall 2024. Okay, that kind of... What? New title in 2025, reveal 2024, and now something will launch in 2024 with a reveal later this year. Is that 2 separate games? I don't know. We'll continue. That's kind of confusing. But still, starting with 2017, Capcom has had a major new Resident Evil released. No, I'm assuming that should be released. God, Shubhankar, mate. You need to sort your stuff out, mate. You never had this on the scoop before. You've been nailing it before. We'll let you off this time. So starting with 2017, Capcom has had a major new Resident Evil release lined up for almost every single year, whether that's a remake, a new mainline entry, or DLC. Earlier this year, we saw the launch of Resident Evil 4's excellent remake, with the year before bringing Resident Evil Village Winter's expansion. But given the fact that the last new mainline entry in the series, Resident Evil Village, is a couple of years old now, it's no surprise that many are beginning to wonder what the next numbered Resident Evil when the next Resident Evil installment will come out. According to prominent leaker Dust Golem, it's apparently still a ways off. Speaking recently on fellow leaker The Snitch's Discord server, shared on Reddit, Dust Golem claimed that based on recent information received from, quote, trustworthy sources, Resident Evil 9 is expected to launch sometime in 2025 and that it could be announced in 2024. Leaks have also strongly indicated that Resident Evil 4 is set to receive a large-scale paid expansion focused on Ada Wong in separate ways. So it's possible that Capcom uses that to fill out the gap between new game releases next year. Dusk Golem has previously claimed that Resident Evil 9 has been in the works since as far back as 2018, and that it may very well be the last numbered game in the series. Meanwhile, according to Dusk Golem, Capcom will announce a major new game at the end of this year, which is set to release sometime in fall 2024, though the leaker hasn't provided any hints as to what the title could be. Fans will be hoping that there we go. That it's finally time for Monster Hunter World's long-awaited follow-up. Of course, as is the case with any unconfirmed rumor, it's best to take this with a grain of salt.
Yes,
I agree. So, a new Capcom game towards the end of the year, potentially Monster Hunter, which will then come out next year. And then a new Resident Evil announced next year, potentially to come out the year after. Obviously, all rumors. But from reliable sources, Dusk Golem, we know, has had some absolute nailed-on stuff in the past. What are your thoughts, Bib?
Yeah. Do you know what? I never thought of them ending the numbered series, in all honesty. I always thought it would just be a thing that goes on forever, but I do feel like at some point the story needs to potentially stop because it's obviously getting a bit wild. I mean, it's never really been the most structured series in the world. But I've never thought of it, and I feel like if they wanted to round it up, probably 10 is the right thing to do. The game probably would have been around for 30 years by then, so it's probably a good idea for them to be. I mean, it will be well over 30 years by the time Resident Evil 10 comes out, so I feel like that might be a good way of being able to do it, and then they might just pick a load of side stories to go along with characters that we love or something, because the characters have aged, obviously. Since the Resident Evil 1 and 2 games, where we was introduced to a hell of a lot of the cast. Wesker died. Spoiler alert. Wesker died in Resident Evil 5, which came out 13, 14 years ago. So if you've not played it by now,
babe.
where the fuck have you been? So he was obviously one of the main villains of the game. No longer available in the game. Chris Redfield looks like he's in his early 40s now, whereas he looks like he was in his early 20s when the game first came out. Same with Jill Valentine. Leon is significantly older, so is Claire. So the mainstay of the cast are aging. I don't know if they're going to be continuing to age and into the 60s, still fighting Umbrella. I don't think that's going to be the case. The game will not work if they start to introduce a hell of a new form of cast to this franchise and they start to build off stories with them. It will not work. I know that for a fact. I think the rest of the community know that for a fact as well. They can't just on Resident Evil 11 introduce a brand new cast to the game and expect us to be able to, roll the story back 30 years and this was Delta Team that we never even saw. So
they were always just off camera. Yeah, you didn't even. Yeah. That's awkward. God.
So I never thought of them ending it at any point. But that it does make sense. If there was to continue a tangent of storylines, they could easily go back with the Resident Evil Leon side story that may have been taking place during Resident Evil 5. Obviously, with Resident Evil 6, he was in that too. So I don't know, Graham. I don't know how they would ever do the timeline. But introducing Ethan into it worked well. But obviously, it was alongside Chris Redfield as well. So I don't know. They could definitely have supporting cast, but to completely recast the entire game, I don't think that'll go down too well. But yeah, 2 years for the new game to come out seems acceptable because they've been pumping out the backdated games, shall we say, the original Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4. They've been doing that in between, and a new story with Ada Wong for DLC for Resident Evil 4. That makes perfect sense. So yeah, it does feel like they'll be able to plug the timeline or plug in the gaps between now and the reveal of the game potentially later on next year.
Yeah, I mean, for me, any series that has 10 titles in it has the risk of having some shit in there.
There's been some shit.
Very rarely do you get a game that has a trilogy that hits everything nailed on. So having Centilogy, I don't know what, 10 games, a decagoneries, whatever, fuck knows, word probably exists.
Something.
Yeah. So a 10-part series that's set over 30 years. That's the amount of cultural change that will have happened in 20 to 30 years. The amount of different writers and different directors, the amount of different technological advances that change the way that games are developed. It's always going to be difficult for a game to have 10 parts across such a long period of time. So dropping the numbered series, if that's just a case of we're just going to call it Resident Evil 9, Resident Evil 10, and then Resident Evil Umbrella War or whatever is the next one, and that way, they still could continue with the story in that sort of sense. I just feel like, I agree with Babe, I feel like you're stretching things out, your characters have been and gone. Even things like the MCU, which has some of the most creative content minds in the world, is struggling right now because they're trying to build after a phase has been planned and ended, and they're now trying to start up the next phase while still having the remnants of the last phase and still...
Yeah.
So...
Imagine when they come to recast all of the previous stuff, because that's going to happen in our lifetime 2 or 3 times. Like, we've seen countless Batmans, but we've only really seen one Iron Man. We've only really seen one Captain America, shall we say. Like, it's going to be so difficult to be able to do that. They are big shoes to fill, and I don't believe, as much as I love Capcom and as much as I've thoroughly enjoyed the games over nearly the last 30 years, I don't believe they've got it in them to be able to continue Resident Evil as we know it now in the future.
I feel
without
like
introducing them, but
for me,
I don't know where they go from there.
Yeah, for me, you've got one of two things. One is episodic, for want of another thing. Not episodic, that's the wrong word. Because episodic means they all follow on from each other. Individual titles, like so, Star Wars got to the end of the 9-film series and went, "Fuck. Okay, now what do we do? Let's get Rogue One." Star Wars story in there. Obviously, it came out before like the end of the 9, but you get the idea that they'd already had the 9 planned out. What else can we do? We got Solo, a Star Wars story in there, and they're starting to do that sort of stuff. And then, okay, we'll do Mandalorian, same universe. We'll do the Book of Boba Fett sort of stuff, same universe.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah, exactly. So they've started to go off. I feel like you're either going off on individual stories or stories that run in tangent that might feature some of the characters or something. Or you God of Warring it. You've gone, okay, hack and slash God of War, had an amazing time, but the world has moved on. A lot of people are still liking that, but a lot of people don't want that anymore. So let's go Hollywood blockbuster-esque and change the angle. Resident Evil is Hollywood blockbuster-esque, but I feel like you need to go, okay, same characters, different universe.
Yeah.
Boom. Okay, completely different thing. This is what happens. Yeah, Claire might die instantly, which makes someone else fucking whatever. I feel like that's the way forward for Resident Evil for me, because they have done well to get a second bite at the same cherry in the same universe with the same storyline. When Capcom looked like they were about to fold 7 years ago. So now I feel like, okay, you can't get a third bite at the same cherry. You've got to go and think about, okay, we need a new fucking cherry now. And you can do that with the same stuff. It's been proven. Just how you do that is the interesting thing. So Resident Evil 9 launching in 2025. Probably doesn't surprise anyone. Maybe even Resident Evil 10 after that, 2027, 28. But at that point, okay, where do you go from here? Do you just keep going for Resident Evil 11? Because if that's the case, then fuck me, it's an unfortunate and awkward world to be living in, because even at the end of it you'll get your we all survived story, but you didn't really survive because the fucking next monster thing's going to crack on straight after, as always happens. So.
But they got extremely lucky with Ethan in Resident Evil 7 and his little molded Jack Baker household. Like they got extremely lucky that game was fantastic, and they fundamentally changed the way that we played Resident Evil games in terms of the first person view. They've tried that in the past. Resident Evil's Gun Survivor, you can fucking look them up if you want. I won't waste your time. And there was one called Dead Zone, Dead Area, Dead Eye, something along those lines. I completed it like 6 or 7 times.
Just dead,
it's terrible.
Mate. Just dead.
It's a terrible. Dead Aim, that was it. Resident Evil Dead Aim.
Dead
You could play it with a light
mate.
gun if you wanted. Yeah, terrible. Honestly, it is. Don't waste your time. But they got extremely lucky that Ethan Winters, not really a likable guy because you never saw his face. You hardly heard him speak or anything like that. But it was a very, very gameplay tight environment. It was fantastic. They looked out with that. Resident Evil Village, I had mixed feelings on. I actually really, really like that game now after completing it a few times. So I don't know if they can afford to do that kind of thing again. Like, we haven't seen Jill in a game, a mainline game, in forever. Revelations, I think, was the last time I think we're seeing it in any kind of capacity. Revelations 1. Revelations 2 was around Barry Burton, who was in the first game.
What name?
But it is a fantastic name, that, isn't it?
Absolutely. A plasterer, like from
Yeah.
Dudley. Big up Barry Burton plastering services. Yeah, let's go.
But yeah, I think they've definitely scraped the barrel of cast members.
So is Barry, you know, to get every last bit of plaster out. You know, it's a difficult world these days. You got to make use of all your materials.
Absolutely. And Rebecca was obviously in the Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil 1, and then the remaster. So whether or not she makes an appearance again in any other game, I have no idea. But yeah, I think they scraped the barrel with most of these. I'm excited, but also worried about the future of Resident Evil, because we've had so many bangers in the last 7 years. Well, that is so hard to capitalize on.
We're going to have to start to wrap things up, but before we do, you were talking about the future of Resident Evil. One of the other things mentioned in this article on Gaming Bolt is that not only is Resident Evil expected to launch Resident Evil number 9 in 2025, with a reveal coming next year, but later this year to launch next year, so 1 year announced early, 1 year released earlier than Resident Evil, is another Capcom game, with the rumour suggesting potentially a Monster Hunter World sequel, Monster Hunter World 2, maybe? I don't know. I kind of feel like Capcom needs that. Like, not that I'm asked. I didn't play Monster Hunter World. It's not for me. But it was hugely successful. I know a lot of people that played Monster Hunter World. So I kind of feel like Resident Evil and Capcom need another Capcom game. Be that Monster Hunter World. Fucking bring us Dino Crisis, mate. Like, until we get that, I feel like Capcom can't let Resident Evil go, or can't gamble, or can't revitalize, restart Resident Evil, because as soon as they start Resident Evil again, that's it. You could put it on life support. Your decisions could be shit, and you can't go back unless you want to accept that you failed in front of everyone. Capcom, Japanese company, they don't do that very often, so they won't do the failure thing. They'll just try and find a way to backpedal, kind of thing here. So yeah, Monster Hunter World, Dino Crisis, whatever it is, we need something like that to be announced this year, to smash it next year, to make shitloads of money, so that Resident Evil just doesn't carry the torch, which then allows for the people behind the game. And we've had numerous articles now saying numbered releases from Square Enix and Capcom might be dead. So not just continuing with the fact that 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, but going different angles and so on. We've had all these different stories, but you can't do that if that is your breadwinner. And hopefully Monster Hunter World or Dino Crisis or another game from Capcom comes along, relieves some of that burden from Resident Evil, and then means that it's not just a case of we can get the great content that it has been delivering, and doesn't force it into the world of churn, because you can't consistently hit bangers after bangers after bangers after. Well, you can, but very few brands have done that. And forcing a brand into that position means you're probably less likely to do it. So hopefully Monster Hunter World does get announced and smashes it.
Bit of breath and fresh air, change of pace and all that.
Uzva the cat is watching you guys from my lap. Meow, meow. Do you know what, Uzva? You're watching Ice Cream.
Upload!
Yeah. And on that bombshell, we are going to wrap things up. Thank you very much, everyone that did stick around. We appreciate you sticking around for the news, which was Modern Warfare 2 weapons, skins, and operators will carry over to the next game. Apparently, Call of Duty 2023 is the next game. Hasn't been announced yet. We expect Modern Warfare 3. Hasn't been announced yet. But the rumour is that everything you got in Modern Warfare 2 will carry over. It's not been confirmed, but they hinted at that on the social media channels for Call of Duty. So maybe. Elsewhere, Call of Duty has been having a great weekend. The old school games, 13-year-old Call of Duty games, have been outperforming Halo Infinite and Battlefield 2042 because big things. Nice. Loot boxes are a bag of shit and should get in the bin. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't actually say that. But games industry companies are agreeing to try to restrict access in the UK. And Resident Evil 9 rumoured to launch in 2025, with a reveal likely to be coming next year. Monster Hunter World 2 rumoured to be announced later this year, to be launching next year. Whew, lots of news, lots of stories, lots of rumours, and lots of people dropping in right now as 12 Head. Look at the size of this raid. Welcome in, 12. All right, darling, you've dropped in just in time for
Funko
us
Pop.
to hear the Funko Pop noise. Nice. We are about to raid someone. We've literally just finished up. But, 12, I appreciate you dropping in. Anyone from 12 stream, if you haven't seen us before, we are ICU. We do have a PUBG clan that 12 had neglected to join because he, and I quote, thinks Bibby is a penis. So,
I mean, he's not wrong.
yeah, I mean, it was also the fact that when 12 was like, who should I join? Which clan should I join? Bibby rang him up and just went,
Upload! Upload!
so naturally I'd join anything else as well. So yeah, sadly we didn't get 12. But yeah, hi.
Damn.
But yeah, please do feel free to stick around for the raid. You will get 250 sprinkles that you can spend on our channel. And just in case you are here from 12, who I assume has been playing some PUBG, we have something called the Double Trouble League. Basically, if you play a duos game with me and you take us to a big win, you could bag yourself a full... sadly, we didn't get 12. Said no one ever. We said it. It's now. It's real. Yeah, so you take me to a W? Who's called it that? A W? A dub?
A W.
A W. A jolly good win. Take me to a win and get a good score. You could bag yourself a full setup. Shout out to Tito for exclamation mark detail. There's the video there. An exclamation mark table will give you a link to the current leaderboard if you want to check it out. Nice. But before any of that, as mentioned, stick around for the raid. You'll get 250 sprinkles. But before we drop the raid, is there all you'd like to add, Mr. Bib?
Yes, thank you very much, Graham. Yeah, if you are, obviously, if this is the first time you're watching, feel free to give us a follow. Give us a, if you have got, a little Twitch Prime there that you want to be able to throw away, we'd very much appreciate that. But this is a scoop. We go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. So if you want to help shape the remaining 2 shows this week, there's 2 ways
This
you
week.
can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream World across all major social media platforms, or alternatively, get involved with our Discord. All we need from you is the URL plus your thoughts and opinions. We'll then give you our thoughts and opinions on the very next show, which will, what time? Tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day.
Don't know, mate.
Who even knows anymore?
Yeah. 10 a.m.-ish, probably, possibly, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. We have been pretty busy recently. This last couple of weeks, and for the next few weeks, we have not only Gamescom to prep for, but we are obviously we work in the video games industry. We are prepping for it's silly season coming up in video games. From August onwards, not only do you get Gamescom, but you get all of the releases of so many games. Football games kick off, shooter games kick off, and all the rest because it's gearing up to Christmas. So we are pretty busy. We do have some stuff that we can't talk about, because of NDAs, that we are planning for work. So basically, when we're both in the office, the scoops are a bit more difficult. So hopefully we can bring you a scoop tomorrow. Thursday's not as bad as a Tuesday, but we'll see. So yeah, keep your eyes on us. Best thing to do is just follow us on Twitch or any of the social media channels. You get notified when we go live on Twitch. Plus, you'll see all the posts across Threads, across Twitter, across Instagram, Facebook. We post it all. Nice. Yeah. Does an epic loss count as a big win? Yes, it does. It does, actually, to be fair. If you get 22 kills and lose, you'll still be at the top of the leaderboard.
Yes.
Facts. I posted it in memes as well. What did you post?
There's a video of what he thinks that my uploads thing sounds like.
Okay. I'll look at that one. I mean, I can't ever find anything on Discord because if I do that, then we lose Bibby on screen. So yeah.
Well, we're going to raid Connor Wolf, the pro FIFA player, because he's currently playing Modern Warfare 2.
Nice. That sounds good. I haven't actually been in Connor Wolf's stream for ages, so it would be nice to drop in. You guys feel free to drop in to, as been mentioned, Connor Wolf, FIFA Pro, and has a lot of content on how to get good at FIFA. But today, he's playing Modern Warfare 2, so hopefully if he plays a lot of FIFA, he might be bad at Modern Warfare 2, so we can all feel as good as he does. Yeah, nice. But yeah, stick around for that raid. We will be back tonight, 6:30 p.m. for some PUBG. Chasing crates with mates. I haven't actually reached out to the boys because it's been a busy day, but hopefully I will be joined by the Triggermeister, Legoff, and maybe even some beans. Who knows? 6:30 p.m. tonight. Until then, have yourselves a beautiful day and stay frosty.